Well, it's not allowing me to start. Hello, everyone. Give us a second. Yeah. And they see us. Hi. We'll be right back. Talk about a bad day.
Right?
That could trigger me back in my old me. Like, gosh, something went wrong. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 23. And at the beginning of this, I couldn't get it to start the way it's supposed to. And Brenda and I were live going, oh no. Well, I was a little bit internally going, why can't this click the right way? Anyway, today we're talking about bad days where it seems like the weight of the day is on our shoulders. We can't seem to escape it. And we're just going to unpack that, talk about it a little, and share some experience and then some tools and things that we do in order to move these bad days towards good days. Hi, my name is Charlie Collins, speaker, coach, and grateful to be here with you all today. I'm an author of a book called Tripping into the Light. I'm the co-founder of the Thriving Blind Academy and now a coach with Time for a 10.
And we are so lucky to have you, Charlie. Hi, everyone. My name is Brenda Hayden. I'm the founder of Time for a 10. We are an emotional intelligence, emotional awareness coaching service. There's 9 of us. We have a free Zoom every Monday for people who just want to check it out or want to learn how to work through a disturbance by challenging your conditioned thinking. That's what we teach people how to do. And it makes their lives better. They find peace and happiness and acceptance and all kinds of great tools. I'm really happy to be here today. And I want to say good morning to Carrie and Trish. We're so glad you're here. You guys are so faithful. And Kate's here too. Welcome, everybody.
Yes, welcome. And you said disturbance. I was going to ask you, I'm sure it's one of the things that can produce a bad day. So I was going to ask you, Brenda, what is a bad day?
You know, for me, Charlie, a bad day, if I really had to sum it up, things aren't going my way. That's what a bad day is for me. Things aren't going my way. Usually, you know, if I look back on the days that I would come home from work or even start my day and say, oh, this is going to be a really bad day, it's really because I'm inconvenienced in some way or something didn't go my way. What about you?
Oh, I was going to just ask you another little question. And is your way the good way, the right way, and the way it should be in order to justify my attitude, your attitude, and how you behave that day?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. It's all my conditioned thinking. It's me thinking that things need to be a certain way for me to be happy. It's the whole I'll be happy when. And I'll give you a good example of something that went on one morning this week to show you how that worked for me.
bring it on.
Bring it on. Okay, so here's what happened. I get up in the morning. I'm getting ready to go into the office, and I get up really early. I get up at like 5:15 every morning. And I have my little routine, and I take a lot of comfort in having my routine. I do things a certain way. I get up, I make the coffee, I make my bed, you know, I do certain things. And then I pack my lunch, right? And so I pack my lunch and I'm getting ready to walk out the door, and I walk out the door. And then I remember, oh, I forgot my Invisaligners, which I have to wear them during the day. If you don't, it messes up the whole process. So I go back upstairs, I get my Invisaligners. And I walk back down to the car. Now I'm putting my things into the car and I'm like, oh, where's my coffee? Forgot my coffee. I walk back into the house. I come in and get my coffee. Walk back down to the car, sit down, right? Ready to go. Oh, where's my keys? my third trip back up into the house, grab my keys. And as I'm walking out, I'm going, oh, this is going to be an awful day. I mean, that's just where I went. Like, oh, this is how my whole day is going to be like this. It's going to be an awful day. And then the itty bitty crappy committee starts going, right? Telling me, oh yeah, it's going to be a bad day, blah, blah, blah. Right. And I had to stop in that moment. I had to stop, but we'll get to that part later. But that was how my day started. I set myself up because I was mildly inconvenienced for having a bad day. I set myself up to have a bad day.
Yeah. And just quickly, Invisalign isn't a dog fence. It's something else.
It makes your teeth straight instead of bracing.
Okay. Just making sure. And I would imagine that you need to follow a system and take that action daily in order to get the results.
Yeah. Yes. Good point. Excellent point. Yeah.
Okay, good. So what's a bad day to me? Well, what a bad day is very similar to you. It's events in my day that I don't like the way they turned out or the results I was getting, but I wasn't able to take responsibility, like for the way people behaved or the way work worked out or the way a customer backed out of a good deal I thought we were going to have. And then I assigned that failure, that the result of something, I assigned it. It wasn't the way it should have happened, and then it was bad. And then it just carried through the day. I mean, I didn't stop in that moment to say, well, I mean, what's my part? Did I not share enough value to the customer? Did I not show how this product or this training I was offering was going to move them from where they are to where they could be? Did I not share that well enough? Was I only thinking of making a sale? And it didn't align, and they said no to me, and I didn't like that. That's bad. Like, I took it personal, where all I could do was take a look at it and see how can I get better. I didn't have that ability back in the day where I assigned things to bad days.
Yeah, we attach meaning to events. For me anyway, I'll keep it in the I attach meaning to events or circumstances or outcomes that are personal to me, when events, circumstances, and outcomes rarely have anything to do with me at all. But I make it about me, and then the suffering begins. The other thing I wanted to ask you, Charlie, was when you're in that mode where things aren't going your way, like, when I got up and, I had to come in and out of my house 3 times just to get everything I needed to go to work. And I tell myself, oh my goodness, and that's really not the language I used in the moment, but this is going to be a bad day. What happens when we do that? Now we're laser focused, whether we realize it or not, whether I realized it or not. I would be spending the rest of my day on the lookout for something to validate that truth that I just told myself about the day I was going to have. Laser focused, my subconscious brain, on assigning bad, this is bad, to other things that might go on during the day to validate what I've already told myself is going to happen that day.
Mm-hmm. It's the law of attraction. It's a proven thing that if what we pay attention to and give our energy to, that's what we'll achieve and receive throughout the day. And it is so true. As soon as I assigned this is bad, they are bad, they're irritating me. I wasn't looking within, I was looking without, and thinking why. And so then, as you said, my day to validate, then when I went from work to the store to the gas pump I'd be with somebody, but or to go do this and do that, or go find a rake, or go do some work out in the yard, everything kind of seemed to not flow, because I was thinking, oh, great, now look at this. My rake is bent a little, and oh my God, my lawn is in terrible. I mean, I just looked for everything that wasn't good.
Right. And let's talk about something else while we're on this topic about assigning meaning to things. Why do we assign meaning to things? Why do we even do that? To assign meaning to something, like does it mean anything that I had to go back into my house 3 times, that I forgot my keys, I forgot my coffee? Does it mean anything? It doesn't mean anything. So why do I assign meaning to it? There's only one reason why I assign meaning to anything. What do you think it is? I love putting you on the spot because you're brilliant. You always get the answer right away.
Yeah.
You think the way I do. You teach me something new.
Well, why would I assign meaning?
Yeah.
Because I gotta figure it out. I gotta know the why, the reasoning for this is happening to me.
And so peel that onion one more layer. What is that about? Having to know why.
Because I'm not looking within. I'm not taking responsibility for my actions of the morning.
Absolutely. We're seeking control. It's all about control. It's all about control. When I know why, I feel in control. Why doesn't even matter. And most of the time, there isn't a why, but I need a why to feel safe, to feel in control, to feel like I can change it next time. I can change it right now. It doesn't matter. It's like, oh, I forgot my keys. Oh, well. I forgot my coffee. Oh, well. This is really good exercise going up and down the stairs. Like, think about it. For me, it's all about control.
And this shouldn't be happening to me, even though I'm the one who made it all happen. That's one of the brilliant statements. This shouldn't happen to me. Well, you misplaced your sunglasses and now you're looking for them and you're getting very irritated because they should be where I didn't put them. And who came in here and moved them somewhere and put them on a table that matches the color of the sunglasses, and I don't see well, so and it's like, wow. And the littlest thing, Brenda, could trigger me for the day, and it could ignite me to start looking at what's wrong. And I don't do that. So let's talk about, because we fall into that attitude. It's an attitude. It's a mindset. I start blaming. All right. Become a blame thrower. I see everyone outside of me as adding to my bad day. I don't see what I can learn, how I can be of service, what my part is. I don't see that. I just see how they all are adding to my bad day. I'm complaining about it. I'm justifying why I'm grumpy and I need to share this with you. And I'm defending that, hey, this happened to me. I am not responsible for this. And, and I'm making excuses for why I'm late or why I didn't follow through, or, everything is just collapsing. And gosh darn it, why does this happen to me?
Yeah. That's that victim mentality that we talk about a lot. I think our first podcast, we talked about the victim mentality and having to wait in line at a grocery store. It's everybody else's fault that I'm, having to wait in this really long line. It doesn't matter that I came at the busiest time that the store is open. What matters is I have to wait in the line. It's the Ain't It Awful Club. It's the I'm a Victim Club. It's the, it allows us blaming and complaining. Really, I love Brene Brown because she says it best. It's just a way of expelling our discomfort with whatever the situation is. It's a way of just getting that energy out. It's not productive in any way. It's not productive in any way to do that. It doesn't solve anything. And in all of the things that you were just saying, you're right. There's no accountability. There's no accountability for, what's my part in this? Did I get the ball rolling? I love that from our favorite book. Did I get the ball rolling? If so, how? Right? And when I look at the way I started my day, when I forgot those 3 things, guess what I was doing? Rushing.
Yeah.
Rushing. I was not in the present moment. I was thinking of, an hour ahead, 2 hours ahead, this afternoon, this morning, what meetings I have, what I have to do, who I have to see. I wasn't in the present moment. I wasn't doing any self-care. I wasn't available to remember to grab my coffee, my keys, and anything else I need. I wasn't available for it.
Because you were somewhere else.
I was
Even though
so
your body was moving through that morning, your mind wasn't with your body. You were separated, and that's the conditioned mind, the programming, the thing that we wake up with. If we're not present, we start losing count of what's going on, and our mind is off here, and our body's doing this, and it's unconscious. It's habit, and then we're like, "What the freak?" Uh, and that's where we start to wake up and we start to say, wait a minute. Now, Brenda, if you were doing this 2 days a week, kind of missing the mark in the morning and walking up and down the stairs a lot and thinking, okay, I do like going up and down the steps, but this isn't working. I need to do something about this. So I need to create a system in the morning. So I put in my Invisalign, my coffee, my keys, everything is laid out in a systematic approach that will trigger me to be present, to go through and to sit in the car and go, like it's no big deal. But if I was performing that in the morning over and over, that frustration of coming back and forth into the house, going, oh God, now I got to get this and I got to do that. And I think it's the funniest thing when my Molly leaves or my daughter's home visiting and I hear them coming back up the steps. I'm like, I can relate. And I know right now I could really trigger you and go, what's the matter? Did you forget something? But no. Hey, nice to see you home so soon.
Oh, that's funny. And go ahead.
No, you go for it.
So it's not even about creating a new routine for me to make sure I get everything right. To me, that defeats the purpose. What I was doing on a regular basis that I've gotten away from, and I didn't have these problems when I was doing it, is before I left the house every day, I would sit on the couch and do a 10-minute silent meditation. A silent meditation where I'm just not thinking. That's not to say thoughts weren't coming into my mind, but I've learned to say, thank you for coming, swipe. I moved past it. But that just taking 10 minutes and sitting on that couch and doing a silent meditation before I leave the house, I don't have to remember to do all of those things. It flows. And it's really that simple. I have not been doing that the last few months. And that's on me.
Yeah. And I do need the sunglasses. I need the system. And it's because I don't want to have to trigger my, because so I use a system. I put things back where they go and it's just that follow through. So I can just without thinking go to and grab this. I go out of the house, I need this, this, and this, and those 3 items we'll say are always where they're supposed to be because I put them back. I put them where they belong. Well, and I believe they belong in a place where I can just retrieve without having to look for. But I hear you. And this is where we're going to move into. It's because I shifted, you shifted. It's like you said, there's a book that we've learned many principles out of. And Brenda, if I go through my day and I start to realize that I am responsible for the outcome, for the result of each thing that goes on, even if I go in a store and the line is big or the people are irritating me, which the truth is they can't. Unless I give that power to them, like the way you're dressed, what you're talking about. I mean, it's like, that's none of my business when I'm in a healthy space. I don't even hear it anymore. I smile and I look, where can I be of service? How can I make this and smile at the clerk and do the things that just shift? But I had to get to a place like, really, is this as good as it gets? Like, life seems to be difficult at times. And it does. Life throws sucker punches. People pass on. Things take longer than I anticipated. Money doesn't flow as easily as it should. Again, you talked about it. When I assign meaning to the way it should be, I become the higher power. I become the person I could only manage. I would be happy and joyous and free if I could only manage well. And what I'm talking when I think in that mind is not me, it's you. I can manage outside of me well, and then I can go through my day with grace. And that is BS.
Yeah, that's a total lie. I tried that for years. It never worked. And maybe it might work short term. You might get a few wins, but the minute it stops working, the whole house of cards crumble. You're talking about something that's really important. When you said, and I just want to be really clear on this because I'm not sure people understand, when you said that, you're responsible for the outcome, that doesn't mean life doesn't happen on life's terms, like you were saying. What it means is that we have a choice at any given moment to give something power and not give it power, to assign meaning to it or not to assign meaning to it. And one of the things that I've really come to rely on is that everything that happens in my world can be used for my highest good if I allow it to. I can take even the direst of circumstances and situations that have gone on. And I've been through some major stuff. I can take those circumstances and situations and I can use them as learning tools. And I can actually grow and experience peace and joy from some of the direst things that have happened. It doesn't always feel like that in the moment, but that's exactly what's happened in my life. Things have really gone awry. And they have God, creator of the universe, whatever you want to call the thing that created all of this, has always made lemonade out of the lemons in my life. And all I really had to do is surrender to the knowing that would happen. I just need to surrender to it. And that's what I try to do. And I'm more successful these days than I was in the past at just letting go and knowing everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. And Charlie, I've had 2 of my 3 children almost die.
Yeah.
So, and I have two of my 3 children have significant issues. And you can't assign meaning to those things. Like, I think initially when those things were happening, I would say things like, God is doing this to me. What did I do to deserve this? Things like that. And those experiences have been the greatest experiences in my life, and my children are thriving, despite those challenges.
Mm-hmm.
In spite of, yeah.
My business partner, Kristen, in the Thriving Blind Academy, has 2 blind boys. She has 3 children. And she was horrified that she had blind kids. She's like, oh my God, they'll never do this. She had them in the worst life. And she was like, and now my life's not going to be great because I'm not going to have the kids I wanted. And I don't know why I laugh at that, but I can relate, I guess. But she was sitting like crying on the bed, like sitting on the corner of it. And her son, who was visually impaired, not completely blind yet, had a very little sight, at like 3 or 4 years old, came in, Mommy, what's wrong? I'm happy. I love my life. Because he didn't know any other way. And he taught her in that moment that let's work with what we have. Let's see the world differently than you have been seeing it. And it's amazing. They're 23 and 5. No, 21 and 23 or so. And both boys are doing amazing because the shift happened. Why did this happen to me? Because I could write a book and build a business, and I could help the many people out there that have this situation in life. I can give back because my higher power gave it to me, because it's not a curse or the worst thing in the world.
Right. In the moment, it may feel that way, but it can be a blessing if you allow it to. It doesn't have to create many bad days. Let's get back to the bad days.
Well, that's why we assign, this is why it's bad. And what is bad anyway? What is good? That is all an individual's assignment of meaning too. Bad could be the most ridiculous thing. Like, we have no cheese in the drawer. This sucks. Like, how could you not have cheese? Who is the person I need to blame because I opened that thing and the thing isn't that I want isn't in there? That's bad to somebody. That's sad to me. It's like, oh, it's like, I don't know. The things that I used to trigger are so gone for me. It's like, okay, I wasn't meant to have cheese. What can I do? How can I have a nice meal? What can I add to my eggs to make them yummy? Instead of, oh, that's it. And then, you know what I mean? That's what is bad anyway. I mean, it's just, why don't we look at things differently and say, it's just, I got to course correct. I got to look for what I can do. I got to see what is possible in the refrigerator, or maybe I got to postpone eating, or hey, can I go to the store and pick up a few things to help fill the fridge,
Exactly. You said something really important. You said, now it just completely left my mind. Oh, you said maybe I wasn't supposed to have cheese that day. That's exactly where I go. If it's not happening, it wasn't supposed to happen. If it's happening, it's happening. When I had to come back into the house 3 times because I forgot 3 things, and I caught myself because I catch myself today, which is a beautiful thing to catch yourself. So it was enough in the present moment where I was able to pause and say, wait a minute, this thinking is not for my highest good, because that's the question I ask. Is this thinking for my highest good? Is it going to get me anywhere? And if it's not going to get me anywhere, I stop and I take a moment to reset. And I said to myself that when that came out of my, when it came into my brain that, oh, I'm just going to have a bad day. This is how my day is going to be. I stopped in that moment and I asked myself, is that true? Am I going to have a bad day because I had to come back in the house 3 times? And when I stopped and thought about it, I'm like, no, this has nothing to do with the quality of my day. I had to come back in the house 3 times. That's it. And when I took a moment and sat down at that time, and I said, what am I so anxious about? Like, I stopped and asked, I went inward and I asked the question, why am I so anxious? And I was anxious because I was afraid I might not get to work on time. Who cares? What's going to happen if I'm 5 or 10 minutes late from work? Think about it. What's going to happen if I'm 5 or 10 minutes late for work that day? Absolutely nothing. I'm going to be 5 or 10 minutes late for work that day. Nothing would happen. And this is a perfect example of conditioned thinking, because none of that came into my awareness when I was passing all these judgments and attaching meaning to things that didn't have any meaning. And it was all based in fear. I was afraid to be late for work. Why? Why am I afraid to be? It doesn't matter. There's no meaning to that. None. And so where does that come from? If you keep peeling the onion, it comes from early childhood conditioned thinking about, you got to be on time. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to live a certain way. You got to be a certain way. Like, that's all the program that's running in my subconscious brain back here that says that I have to be a certain way. I have to be a certain way to be happy, to be safe. And none of it's true. Does that make sense?
It does. And because you stay late, you over deliver, you go the extra mile at work, you give of yourself, you don't sit there and look at social media and talk on the phone, you work hard, and they see that. So there is a few times that I might bump in a little late or whatever, but nobody ever says, dude. But no, I believe if you say you're going to be somewhere, you be there. Now, there are reasons that you're not, but if you say you're going to text someone, call someone, show up at work, if I'm an employer and I expect my employees in, they should be in on time. Now, you got a flat, there's reasons and that's fine, because that person doesn't do it consistently. And if they do stroll in a little late, it's not like, why are you late? You are less than, it's like, it's not even brought up. But I do believe that if we are reviewing our day, and this is where we start taking responsibility. Am I carrying a resentment at the end of this day? Do I have an ill feeling? Did I get angry at something that was outside of me that I just didn't like it, so I got angry at it? Did I share that anger with somebody about these stupid people that weren't stupid? It was my mind. Was I thinking of myself most of the day? Was I starting to build this dishonest structure of, I need to assign meeting. It should have been different. They should have acted this way. I shouldn't have said that. Well, maybe that was true, but do I fall into this dishonest, or what am I afraid of? And then I look at that and I ask, what could I do better? Do I need to call Brenda and go through something because I'm not seeing it? I don't see my part. Like, I don't see how I'm still assigning meaning that I am okay with this anger because this is the reason I have it. And then I call somebody. It's very much what Time for a 10 does. And we go through the disturbance and we clear it. And it happens in that call. You can remove that. It's gone. And then, what could I do better? Do I need to get up and do something in the morning that sets my day in a better trajectory? I don't know why I say that word. It's so hard. And, but Brenda, what also happens that we drift into worry, remorse, and self-pity. And when we drift into that, which means we're not taking responsibility for our thinking. We're not taking responsibility for the actions we took during the day. We're not taking responsibility for the experiences that we're feeling throughout the day. We're not taking responsibility for how we feel. And then we base our decisions and things out of how we feel. And that cycle of bad dayism, actually BDS, bad day syndrome, keeps coming. So, I'm blessed to have some tools, and that's what we teach in these programs and in the Thriving Blind Academy. I know Time for a 10, and as I build CCI, that's what we want to help with is, we got to review, right? And then we got to get honest with the review. And then in the morning, we got to look at the 24 hours ahead. We need to think about what calls we have. Is it true that Bob that's at work that I kind of don't like too much, and now I don't have a Bob, I'm making this up, but I had Bobs in my life, is it true that he has the power to get under my skin and bother me today? No, but I can give that to him, and I'm no longer going to. I remember saying, I'm going to be okay with who I am. I don't need his validation to thrive today.
Beautiful, Charlie. It's actually, and Bob can be Bob. Bob gets to be Bob, even if you don't like the way he is. That's the second piece of that. People can be whoever they are. It has nothing to do with you. You said something important too. You said a lot of really important things there.
No, go on.
Yeah, the feelings don't just pop up. The feelings start with the dishonest structure you talked about. Did I build a dishonest structure around this today? And I like that you mentioned that that's what we do at Time for 10, because it's not just about reviewing your day. At the end of the day, reviewing your day. How about reviewing the disturbance when it happens? That's what our coaches do for each other. If I have a disturbance, what has already come before the disturbance? A dishonest structure was built by me. That's what causes the disturbance, not the event. The event doesn't cause the disturbance. It's the dishonest structure I built around the event that causes the disturbance. So when I have those moments when I'm feeling that, and you could feel it in your body's an antenna. It's going to feel, it's going to tell you what's going on. When I have that feeling, I stop and I get in touch with one of my coaches. I get in touch with you. I get in touch with my network of people that I have. And that's what we teach people how to do on Time for a 10. They have to do 5-6 one-on-one sessions, and then they get to join a free Zoom where they can meet other people that know how to do this disturbance inventorying that they can call for free. It doesn't cost anything for the Zoom. It doesn't cost anything to call someone in the network, but you have to learn how to inventory the disturbance first. You have to learn how to take responsibility for the dishonest structure that you have built that is really causing the disturbance. And we teach people how to do that. And so I offload all of that in the moment, so I'm not carrying it around all day long. And if I don't get a chance to offload it in the moment, that's why at the end of the day, I take a look at my day. Is there anything that's sitting here in my awareness that's bothering me that I need to get rid of so I don't start my day with it tomorrow? And when you get in the habit of doing that, self-examination, the going inward, the looking at the truth of how you are feeling, taking in the world and responding to it, your life becomes transformed. It's a transformative process. You start doing this on a regular basis and all bets are off in terms of how much peace, serenity, happiness, joy, freedom that you can have, because you're not attaching meaning to other people's behavior. You're not even attaching meaning to your own conditioned thinking by which you're assigning these dishonest structures, because it's all happening subconsciously. And once you start bringing it into your awareness, that stuff kind of, starts to fade away because you realize it's not serving you, and you can stop the thinking before it becomes a disturbance. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey. Incredible journey to be on. Just ask some of our clients. And a number of them are on the Zoom today. Are on the podcast today. Ask them how it works for them. It's great.
Yeah. Well, ask yourself, is how I'm doing the game of life working? Am I happy, joyous, and free? Am I able to look at circumstances or outcomes in my day honestly? Like, is it true? And that's a great question. I did a video, blindness sucks. Is that true? Because we don't see with our eyes, we see with our brains. And blindness, your true blindness comes from your thinking. I can't see past my dishonest and my fear. So I'm blind to the truth that this isn't happening to me. I'm creating my own suffering. And, that's why, and I love what you said, Brenda, spot inventory as I go through my day. So I had very good, the roller coaster you're at, it's like, wow, that high. I had those throughout the day. And then, when we're just feeling real gross and poor me and I want to sit alone, because right now, what I need most is to go be of service or go help somebody. But my brain can't see that because I'm so in self-pity that I need to be alone and isolate and figure this out. And, that was like this up and down thing. But as I get more well, those highs and lows come closer together. So I don't have those big spikes throughout the day of I'm happy, I'm pissed. and it just kind of closes because I am able to do spot inventories. I am able to, and I am not white as snow. I don't have this all figured out, but I do have a fighting chance now because I know when life sucks, it's because of me. It can't possibly be of anything outside of me. It's no longer life sucks because I'm legally blind, or I'm not in the financial place I want to be, but dang it, I'm working towards that. And that's the best I can do now. So I don't have that bad day syndrome. I have things I need to course correct on, or I need to talk this out with a healthy mind. You got to be very careful too who you call, because there's people we could call that'll jump on the team. Let's go get them. That is not, you must work with somebody who understands how to see more clearly.
Right. Let me take a moment to welcome Linda. Hi, Linda. We're glad you're here. She loves to talk, and she says, question your well-being, ? Another, Trish is saying, so happy to be listening today. So far, so good. People are saying good morning. Someone Trish, is it Trish? Yeah, Trish likes the painting behind you, Charlie. She likes the painting behind you. I am responsible. Linda loves this talk, and thank you guys for the comments. We love the comments. This is a great topic about having bad days and not having bad days. I don't have bad days anymore. I have days where there are opportunities to learn, but there's no day that's a bad day. None.
And that's why I put it in there, Brenda. Is it possible to never have a bad day again? Yes. Of course it is.
It is.
The life's going to happen. It's all about how you approach the uncomfortable, the disturbances, the suffering of others in your life, and the passing of family members, mothers, and things that are just like, but boy, I wouldn't call that a good day or a bad day. It is a day, and it's a day that I need to be at be in touch with my highest self to move through, so I can be of service. I want to just share, what do okay, so I do a morning pre-flight, right? Because if I jump into the day without slowing down, guess what? My old me is going to start running the show. So I need to help that guy stay away. And I ask, how may I best serve my home? And then I allow those answers to come. How may I best serve my body? How may I best serve my neighbors? So I ask the same thing every morning. How may I best serve my higher power? How can I get out of the way and do a will that's greater than me? And then I ask, how may I best serve if I work with people that to help them see more clearly. It's so funny that I'm the legally blind guy helping people see, and I think it's funny. And and anyway, I ask those questions, but I wait, and yeah, I've been doing it for years, and it comes like, oh, maybe think, and then I send out love to people. Maybe to somebody who's struggling, I form a heart, and then I send it through the universe, and then I see it go around that person, and that's the best I can do for that in that moment. But I know that my thoughts are with you, and I hope that you when the student is ready, the teacher always appears.
Absolutely.
That hope is good, but it isn't the solution. But if you fall into hopelessness, whoa, that's scary. So, I had at one time of my life a hopeless condition of my mind and body, which drove me to surrender. Thank God. I had the gift of desperation, and now I get more. My change comes from not desperation, but from inspiration.
And you have inspired me, Charlie. I want to thank you for your friendship and this podcast and all the ways that you've influenced my journey in such a positive way. So you talked about starting your day in a certain way. And I love that. I love that you set your intentions for the day. That's really important. And it does change everything. And I'm going to make a commitment right here, right now, to do my 10-minute meditation before I leave the house every day, before I leave the house every day. It's not hard to do. Now, let's say you've had a bad day. You didn't do those things in the morning, and you have another opportunity at night. And here's something that I want to offer people as a solution for nighttime. I learned this from Dr. Miller's book called The Awakened Brain. She's the reason why I'm at Columbia. I read that book and I just had to apply to Columbia so that she could be my teacher. Incredible book, The Awakened Brain. And in there's something called the Hosting Council. It's part of the Awakened Awareness training that I'm a facilitator now. I'm Awakened Awareness facilitator. And what you do is you meditate. So you close your eyes and you picture this big, beautiful table, right? A beautiful table, whatever table you want to picture. And then you invite to that table everybody that is here for your highest good. That's all the people that have your highest good at heart. And you invite them to the table, and you watch each of them in your mind. You watch each of them come to the table, and then you go around the room, and I'm going to start to cry. And you ask them if they love you, and you listen to each one of them say that they love you. And then you invite your higher self. That's the spark of the divine that's within you, to the table. And you ask your higher self if your higher self loves you, and you listen to your higher self say, I love you. And then you invite your higher power to the table, whatever that is for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask your higher power if it loves you. And you listen to it say you love you. It loves you. And by the end of that, you're sobbing because you feel so loved in that moment, and you're overwhelmed with gratitude because you're taking a moment to realize how good your life is, the people that love you, that you love yourself. Even if you don't love yourself, your higher self loves you. That spark of the divine in you loves you, and your higher power loves you. And in that moment, you feel that gratitude, and it could really take a bad day and completely transform it. Give it a try. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Miller.
Yeah, that's excellent. And that would be a good guided thing that down the road, whatever, but just know that we will be offering things and products and ways to help. But guided meditation was something that was life changing for me. I mean, it was very uncomfortable. I was like, is everybody really shutting their eyes? I mean, that's embarrassing. What happens if I shut my eyes weird? I mean, you want to talk about I was paralyzed with self worry about what you thought of me and stuff. And oh, God, that's amazing how these things are fears and things just start to fall away. And Brenda, you said doing that 10 minutes in the morning, and I do my best to have a clear mind because it's impossible not to think because thought comes. But I remember thinking a magic carpet, and that one would come, and I would just put it on and go away, and then I have there's another one. Really, it's only been 8 minutes. God, this stuff takes forever. And even counting to 10, everybody count to 10. 1, 2. I can do that. I only got to 2 and I'm already talking, and the Ferrari mind, the first gear at red line was me. I gotta perform well. I gotta get people to like me. I gotta have you see that I'm checking the boxes, that I'm doing something. I've got to keep my cover going because the real self that is suffering can't come out. And then he does. He always does, or she. And then we get to do something about it. So we welcome you to, there is no such thing to have a day. You want to sign a good, bad, indifferent, whatever, go ahead. But try just having a day and seeing where you can be of service and how you can help make it a better day for someone else. And I guarantee you're going to say, my day's pretty good now.
And I want to say one thing about the quieting the mind, if you don't mind. The key to that is to not try and quiet the mind. Don't even try. Just sit there for 10 minutes. If a thought comes up, welcome it, thank it. Don't fight with it. Don't judge it. Don't attach meaning to it. Welcome it, thank it, and just flow. It will work itself out over time. Just trust in that. It doesn't. Your mind doesn't have to be clear. Mine certainly isn't very often. It is what it is.
That's
right. This has been a great podcast. And you're right, Charlie. You're absolutely right. Just have a day. Don't attach any meaning to the kind of day you're having.
All right. Well, this has been, and I love doing this with you, Brenda. I love when we bring guests in. I love growing. I love bringing awareness into me because I need to continually practice principles that help me stay out of my lower self thinking that it should be different and somebody else should come to my house and make it different for me, so it's great to keep this continually going. And I'm still laughing I wish I was at the top of your stairs on that third time up. I know that feeling, and boy, isn't it amazing to say, well, hey, the stair workout certainly didn't hurt. So everyone, thank you for attending. And if you please like, subscribe, share with people. And, if you ever want to in the comments and all, offer topics or suggestions, ideas, anything, we're open because we don't have it figured out. And we're blessed that you all came with us, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.